Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. All right. So, welcome to another Friday Fry Up. I can see quite a few of you are in the chat already, and someone's making a very good point about the tariffs, etc., and all of that stuff. What's this? Let's add this bit here. Actually, let me make sure that my new phone is on airplane mode. 1 minute. On momento. This new phone doesn't quite behave like the other one. So let's do that. And then let's do that. There we are. Airplane mode. I've got your questions in. Everyone's questions. They look brilliant. Many of you are here in the chat. I'm just back from the tennis, of course, running around, got to keep myself fit and healthy so I can still be here doing this work, doing these shows and bringing this information and us exchanging here on this platform. So thanks very much to everyone who has been supporting my channel and helping it grow. Please, of course, be sure to like and share and subscribe and press the bell notification and just share it with people, so it really helps the channel, reach more people, and particularly in this day and age, my goodness, we need these alternatives. So some quick announcements before I start the show. So just to let everyone know, okay, so it's the last chance saloon for my summer sale discount. Thank you to everyone that has booked. I mean, it's been remarkable, isn't it? My gosh. I don't know what it is, but the transit of K2 through my second house at the moment is just making the readings sensational. The stuff that is just emerging. And of course, it's time and experience and practice and observation. Because as you know, I mean, I've been studying astrology since I was 8 years old, but my channel's over 5 years old now. And by this stage, I've done over 2,000 consultations, as many of you will know. And my God, there's so much that you learn about that is not in the books. Oh, and the insights and the revelations are just astonishing, just astonishing now. So catch me while I'm in form, So it's going to continue until the 31st of August. So, of course, that gives you a day or two to get in there like Indiana Jones, rolling under. Remember, it is Hoagie 20, So remember, Hoagie 20, all uppercase, no space, HOGIE 20. Some people have been spelling it different and doing this, that, and the other, and I have to kind of go back into the back part and then kind of refund them the 20%. So it'd be nice if we could get that. Let me just get the camera to focus again. There we are. Get that right the first time, ideally. And if it doesn't work, don't worry. For some people, they booked and it didn't work. I've just been refunding them the 20% anyways. All right. So more news as well. So on Monday, I'll be doing a collaboration with Sherry of, remember Sherry of Voices from the Swamp? I'm going to be on her channel on Monday. Yes, it is. I think it is Monday. So 10 p.m. UK time, which is 5 p.m. EST, Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Mountain, or 2 p.m. Pacific. So watch out for that one. Once she sets everything up, she's probably emailed me already, but I've been out all day. And I will share on my channel the link to join. And also in terms of collaboration news, because, I'm getting all these different collaborations in October. So it's a little ways out yet. 22nd of October. We're going to have a Feifei, a Feifei from Touched by the Tarot and Beyond. And I've been an admirer of hers and her work for a little while, actually. And many of you suggested having her on, Hoglish. And I think Libby as well also recommended her, so she'll be on. She's available. I mean, it's a little whiles away yet, but things go quickly. And other news as well. Thank you. Oh gosh, your name's just gone out of my head, but someone emailed me to tell me about the temple of Göbekli Tepe. The one which is in Turkey, ancient temple from around about it was deliberately buried around about 8,000 BC. So this is before even the pyramids and the Egyptians and all of that stuff. And it turns out it is this giant cosmic clock, which I long suspected anyway, particularly as an astrologer. And AI has been able to figure out the language and its, you know, geometry and its physics and all this stuff. And they're like, how do they know this? But without technical written language. But I'll tell you something, yeah, because, you know, I always talk about the yugas. Sorry, a bit of a side here, but we are coming out of Kali Yuga, which is the age of iron, which is when human consciousness was at its lowest. We're just out of it. Do you remember that diagram I'm always sharing? Let me see if I can, gosh, let me see if I can find it without falling over. You guys know it's in my book, the Candid Guide to Neo-Vedic Astrology, which went to #1 in happiness, by the way. I'm so grateful for that. So do you guys here remember this illustration that I did, hand illustrated? No AI here. And then here you see, this is us down here in Kali Yuga, yeah? The kind of things that were going on there. We had the Mayan collapse, the autumn, what is it? But then the European Renaissance began. You know, there was all sorts. We had the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. That was actually really at the nadir of things. And we are here. Yeah, you see, we're just out of Kali Yuga here. And what we are seeing is that tension between the new age coming in of higher consciousness, which is Dwapara Yuga, ascending Dwapara Yuga, which is the age of energy. Yeah, the age of energy. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah. However, when we see, as we explore in the show with the questions that are coming up, too many of humanity is still in that Kali Yuga age, still trying to use that old energy, that low consciousness. We see the billionaires do it, and sadly, a lot of people going along with Duck L'Orange and all that stuff, they're still in Kali Yuga, yeah? Child marriage and alligator Alcatraz and all that stuff, low consciousness, yeah? But, you know, we still got the hangover from that, so I wanted to share that. So I will have to remember to put the link to the video that was sent to me. Very interesting. All right, so let's begin. Let me have a little slurp of liquids. Okay, so we're going to be starting off with solar flares. Then we're going to be looking, question number 2 is about Russia, Ukraine. Then number 3 is about the US dollar. Then number 4 is about the rescinding of 4.4 billion in aid. Number 5 is about Kamala Harris. And number 6 is about Trump trying to get into heaven. Yeah, so I'm going to try and make sure I cover. I mean, you can't make it up. And as you guys know, and of course, I know I'm preaching to the choir here because, of course, you are my loyal followers here, particularly those that watch me on the Friday Fry Up. You know, I've been talking about it for ages, haven't I? I said 29th of March, when Saturn moves into sidereal Pisces, which is Trump's 8th house, I said it's going to affect his health. There'll be scandals, which, of course, we've seen the Epstein files and stuff. I mean, it was already scandals anyway, but this is where it became really big news because Saturn, planet of karma, is going through his 8th house of death and transformation. But between October 18th to 19th is already starting. Jupiter will move into sidereal Cancer, where it will become exalted. And that will be right on top of Trump's natal Saturn in his 12th house of endings, hospitals, prisons, and exile, the land of far away. Look how things are developing. Even the Magatonians can't hold it in. Everyone is, you know, looking at the decay in front of our eyes. And do you remember I said reality checks? Saturn is in sidereal Pisces with Neptune, the planet of cults, illusions, and delusions. So what? Reality is coming to what? The illusions and delusions. Yeah, people are starting to wake up. Taken them a good old while, hasn't it? All right, let's dive into question number one. Oh, I think I've got some thank yous to say already. Yes. Sorry, but okay, yeah. Oh, thank you here. Thank you, Tobiah. Thank you so much for your kind donation. Much appreciated. And there's a few more starred things here that we want to talk about. Right, first thing, solar flares. Nick Minks. Do we need to become more alert to the increasing solar flares coming in? Their timing appears to correlate with major Earth events. Check out Stephen Burns, I think, she says. Right, let's just pull some tarot on that. But just in general, from an astronomical perspective, obviously I'm an astrologer, but I pay Neo-Vedic astrologer, but I pay a lot of attention to astronomy, yeah, because this is very important, and the cycles of the sun are of immense importance. Apparently, we're going towards a solar minimum, but it's ticked up of late. One of the things that is going to be very, very interesting because of the cycle that we are, the grand cycle is almost 26,000 years, yeah, and this is to do with that wobble, yeah. So quick, you know, physics, the Earth angled towards the sun at around about 23 degrees, but on that angle there is a wobble like this. This is called the precession of the equinoxes. This wobble lasts about 26,000 years, and this is why every sign that is rising on the at the spring equinox changes slowly about every 2,200 years or so. Loose change, yeah, a loose change. We are in that transition point between Pisces going into Aquarius because it goes reverses through the zodiac. The sun has a lot to do with consciousness, yeah, a lot to do with consciousness and developing of consciousness. But the sun itself goes through a cycle of 26,000 years through the Milky Way. And apparently we are now coming to a part of space that is more dense. It has more light, but it's also more heavy. And they say it's going to compact the solar wind. The solar wind is this pushing effect that the sun has as it radiates its energy out, and it becomes the heliosphere, goes way out, way out, way out. But as the density of space pushes up on that, apparently that part of space and consciousness is going to get closer and closer and closer to our sun. And that can produce big changes on Earth as well. So we are here in historic times. So let's just pull some tarot on it before we move to the next question. I hope everyone's good today. Oh God, I mean, what a time to be alive, huh? You know, Duck Larange, look at this. Look what's at the base of the deck. The world, yeah? Isn't it funny talking about the solar flares, the world? This is about the ending of cycles, yeah? We are at the great ending of cycles, folks. Changes and shifts in consciousness. And, you know, without spooking too many people, but let's just put it this way. Many people's soul contracts are, coming to an end. That consciousness of this Duck Larange stuff and those that aligned with it, it's not going to be able to stay around for much longer. But let's just see what the cards have to say about the solar flares, and then we'll move on to the next question. I want to make sure I get everything in today. Solar flares, all right. Spirit, what can you tell us about the meaning of these solar flares and how they're likely to affect humanity and consciousness? It can cause earthquakes, of course, power outages, stuff like that. But it also deals with shifts in consciousness as well. So let's see what we have here. Let's see what the cards have to say. You wouldn't believe the first card, just in case we weren't sure Spirit was listening. The first card. Well. How interesting. Well, the sun has clearly come through on this reading. In Vedic astrology, it really does represent the higher consciousness. The moon is more to do with the egoic consciousness, our emotions, yeah, our childhood growing up, our patterns, our instincts. Wherever the sun is in the chart, that is talking about our higher consciousness, how we want to purify, yeah? The sun always wants to purify. It's a beautiful energy. Look at the first card. We're asking about solar flares. Ta-da! There is the sun. So we can, you know, this is the sun's consciousness speaking here. Let me just adjust the camera so I'm a bit out of focus. Come on, camera. Jesus. Ah, there we are. Better. Anyway, the sun. We're talking about the sun. The sun shows up. But also as well in tarot, the sun deals with what? Illumination, enlightenment. Do you know how I've been saying that people are starting to wake up? People are going to be waking up about the economy, but not only the economy, the regime, what they voted for, or what they thought they voted for. All of this is enlightenment, awakening. Jupiter is going to be exalted, yeah, in October, right on Trump's Saturn, as I said. While transiting Saturn goes through his 8th, yeah, Jupiter in the 12th. Ooh. If we look here, here we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups does talk about choices, but it's a kind of a reluctant card. Part of it can deal with contemplation and reflection, but it's also about emotions and it's about choices. And I think this is where a lot of the Magatonians are right now. But how a lot of, not only just Magatonians, just Americans in general, yeah? I really feel for the people that didn't vote for this BS, you know? I really do. I really do. Here, it's not liking the options on the table, but there's something left field coming out of the sky, which could be good or bad. It can talk about an alternative, but it might be a wackadoodle one, yeah? So this is kind of talking about the consciousness of, you know, of the earth as well. A lot of us are looking at the world and going, this does not make sense. Surprise, surprise. Look, do we see here? We have the King of Pentacles, and this is talking about what? The oligarchy. Yeah, this card for me has come to represent the oligarchy, big business, for entertainment purposes only. And I can't even say a certain person's name because last time they psychically attacked my phone. That phone's dead now, but anyway, whatever. Hold on to my obsidian. Yeah. So this is the oligarchy, yeah, the super rich, the donors, Project 2025, all of that lot, all of that cabal. But look, the Tower, shocks, surprises, yeah, it's starting to crumble. People are starting at last to work it out. They're starting to realize, oh, wait a minute. The reason why I can't have nice things in the good life, okay, I've been told it's immigration and stuff, but actually it's the oligarchy, yeah? Because who's funding all of this stuff, yeah? Who's writing out the little, you know, the permits or the whatever? Also, as well, a lot of those farmers that have voted to deport their own work staff, their own workforce, they were the big employers as well of migrants, yet they were like, we want to take back our jobs, but no one wants to pick things in the field and no one wants to put little screws into iPhones either. Funny that, isn't it? Anyway, that is crumbling, yeah, or the illusion of that is crumbling. And people are longing for what? Something more settled, going back to how things were in the past. Yeah, when one wage could support a whole family. Very nostalgic. Yeah, this is a card of nostalgia. I doubt if it will ever go back to that, but you never know. But yeah, shocks and surprises. This also shows as well that the oligarchy have shocks in store. Yeah, and it's going to affect what? Families, yeah, families, children in particular. But so, you know, it's a big wake-up call, isn't it? So the solar flares are raising people's consciousness so they can't keep entertaining the BS and the delusions. All right, let's just see here. Oh, Thank you so much, Spirit Readings, for your kind donations. So thank you for all you do, Hoagie. Much appreciated. Someone's saying here, Carly saying the tariffs will erase the middle class in the US. Yes, unfortunately. I know that sounds bleak, but everyone is saying it. And then Barbara is saying the Supreme Court will let him keep the tariffs. Of course they will, because they are bought out by who? The oligarchy, showing up as the King of Pentacles. It's a stitch up, absolute stitch up. All right, let's get into the next question. And let's also see who's in the old chit chat. Oh, thank you, almost 600 of you here right now. Denise is saying, stay healthy, Hoagie, we need you. Thank you. Yes, I am staying. That's what the tennis is all about. Makes me run and sweat. Good for the blood sugar, folks. Yeah, good for the blood sugar. All right, let's see who else is in. Oh, thank you. Christina's saying, hello, I always look forward to your shows. Friday fun, we love all the information. Thank you, much appreciated. Eliza is saying, hola, Hogarth, hello. Lovely hair there. Tobias saying, hello, good evening, Hoagie and everyone. Much appreciated. Who else do we have here? Someone's saying here, Deb is saying, hello, caught it live, yay. Thank you. Keisha saying, thank you for sharing your light with us. Much appreciated. Gorgeous photo. My goodness, gorgeous woman. This is just here. TPS is saying, good evening from Cape Codfish. Fish orange wide eyes, very anxious about what may happen in Chicago. Oh, God. There's that as well, isn't it? Right, let's get on to question number 2, because I talk a bit. Right, here we are. Russia, Ukraine. Now, this is coming from Manuela Orchid. Question number 2. Hello, Hoagie. My question today would be how Russia/Ukraine will develop to the end of this year. Putin is obviously just playing games with everybody. Can't stand the guy at all. Thank you and much love, Manuela. Yeah, God. Running circles around Duck L'Orange, yeah, and all of them. He's in cahoots with all of them anyway. By the way, all of this is you can't lay every sin at Putinshka's door. Obviously, you can't lay every single one, but he's behind a lot of things. But at the end of the day, this is known, and people still went along with the propaganda anyway. This was all known, and people still went and voted for Duck L'Orange. Obviously, I mean, we know he cheated as well, but there's still too many. It is still 77 million and in that ballpark. And we'll be talking about Kamala as well. All right, so Ukraine. Russia, Ukraine. Putinshka. Putinshka. For entertainment purposes only, and I'm reading on him. Literally, I have to hold on to the agate as well, yeah? Anyway. Let me just make sure my phone's all right over here. He has the Supreme Court on his side. Those corrupt. Yeah, all right. I think I'll know what this means. So, Russia, Ukraine, yeah, we're talking about. However, look, I think this is the Supreme Court. They're involved here in some kind of way. This card normally means, when it's the right way up, a legal judgment in your favor. Yeah, this could be talking about potential ceasefires and agreements and stuff like that. But we know that's not really what Putinshka wants. If anything, if you guys have not seen it already, watch Puppet Regime. You know what they do with the puppets? It's truer than the news. For me, I think this is talking about SCOTUS. I really do. There's connections there. Yeah. He has some kind of relationship there, tangentially. If we look here, he's working hard. Yeah, he's not wanting this to end. Yeah, this is the Eight of Pentacles here. This is Patinshka trying to keep the war machine going. Yeah, getting the resources, getting the money in. Yes, they say that the Russian economy is not doing well, but it's not collapsed quite yet, has it? Yeah, otherwise it would be all over the news. He's cranking it out. He's getting the money in. People still need energy, unfortunately, in this economy. And didn't I think Dr. Orange punished India, wasn't it, the other day for buying oil from Russia, as if India is going to stop buying oil from Russia and other places. They got 1.5 billion people. Like, come on. Look here, we see the Three of Cups, which is talking about celebration. I think this is him feeling quite happy with himself. Yeah, that recent trip to Alaska made him look good, certainly. Trump couldn't walk in a straight line. Cankle's muffin top couldn't. Literally, they played the tape. It was like this, wasn't it? But Patinshka came out well out of that one, didn't he? However, not all is well in Denmark. I say Denmark, sorry, that's a metaphor. I don't mean that literally, and I shouldn't mix that in. I meant that from Macbeth. Yeah. Conflict, internal conflict, Five of Wands. Not total harmony and agreement. So there might be more things going on in Russia than meets the eye, but he's very good at, you know, with the propaganda. And then the outcome card here is the Ten of Cups. So, which is a wish. It's the satisfaction card. It can also talk about the smug merchant, imports and exports, trade, goods, services. He's not looking too troubled. You know, I have to read the cards as they come. As you know, that's what I do. And I know that's what you guys respect about my channel as well. I don't sugarcoat it. I have to read what comes out. Let me pull a clarifier on that. Oh. So maybe there is an ending. Ah. That is interesting. All right, look. I have to say what I see. The reading ended with the Ten of Cups, yeah? Nine of Cups, Nine of Cups. Ten of Cups is with the rainbow and the family. Nine of Cups, which talks about a wish fulfillment, satisfaction, yeah? However, when I pull the clarifier on that, because we're talking about Putin here and the war, we have the Four of Swords. Now, as you know, when I see this politically, this can talk about someone's career being potentially ended. For me, this card is much more like a death than the actual death card itself. The death card can be sometimes literal death, but it's much more about transformation, particularly a transformation that cannot be avoided. In this card with the Four of Swords, the person is dead and they're in the mausoleum. So could it be there's some kind of satisfaction where Patinshka is feeling quite smug and quite happy with himself, and then there is a change, particularly when we see here, look, we have the Eight of Swords, the woman bound up, getting yourself in a pickle, yeah? Usually of one's own creation, of course, Patinshka invaded. But then look, the outcome card is the Empress, which is, as you guys know, is my Russia card. Patinshka shows up as the Empress and the Emperor, yeah? He's kind of mastered both energies, to be honest. He's mastered both energies. And he's a very elevated wizard. I shouldn't talk too much about him because, you know, he has a lot of people there. But so I think there is some difficulty in the Russian economy. Maybe something going on in the oligarchy that we don't know about, or there could be an announcement of a death, yeah, or something like that as a crucial part of his government. Maybe there's an assassination. I think this is certainly what he wants for Zelensky. He wants Zelensky dead. But there's, yeah, you see, there's this certain level, maybe just the economy and stuff. He's satisfied for now, but I think it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. And let's read the card backwards. Yeah, he's satisfied for now, but there is still fights going on. He's celebrating his recent victory by the Three of Cups, but he's still having to work hard on the war. And then there's some kind of legal decision, contract, or agreement. We're going to have to see how things pan out. This has become a war of attrition. Who can outlast the other? That's really what this is. Who can outlast the other? And it's looking a little bit tricky there for Patinchka, but he's also got some good cards as well. It's a bit of a mixed bag there. All right, let's move on to the next question, which is number 3, and it's about the US dollar. Let's also as well, let's see who else is here in the chat. Oh, 700 of you now. Someone, Sharon Sipe is sharing my website. Thank you so much. Hogarth's Global Astrology. Oh, and someone's saying here, Debbie's saying, oh, Kali, creation, destruction, creation, etc. Yes. Jennifer saying, hi, handsome Hogarth and good people. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Oh, look. Oh, Sharon, you're fabulous. Look, she's actually put the coupon code up there. Till August 31st, 20% off. Oh, my God, thank you. And someone's saying here, Susie says, I'm so freaking happy I finally caught you live. Much love for you and always look forward to your delish, yummy, juicy and informative readings and what to expect in these crazy times. I know, gosh. Oh, and thank you as well. Sharon's also put, join me on my Ibiza retreat at Aguamadera, November 7th to the 10th. Yes, go for it, folks. We'll be there. We'll be there in person. Fantastic food, good weather, away from all of the cray-cray. And we'll be there learning astrology, teaching astrology. We'll have, it's got a Greek gods and goddesses theme. And we're going to have, you know, a very spiritual time, yoga, meditation as well, all of that stuff, really good food. It's going to be a fabulous. So if you're up for that, go for it. The links are there. All right. So here, Denise Ferguson, the power of the US comes from the strength of our dollar. If Trump is successful in politicizing the Federal Reserve, it will have a lasting impact on the dollar's value. Was this a Project 2025 or Putin move? So we know that he's got, what did he do? He's trying to fire that woman from the Federal Reserve, trying to get her on, what is it, mortgage fraud or something? Apparently years ago there was some kind of question mark about some mortgage she got, but I mean, a bit flim flam, isn't it? But you know what these people are like. This regime, US dollar, let's just see what's going on. Obviously there is inflation, and Trump's idea, or those around him, they want to devalue the dollar, which will increase inflation, by the way. Really what this is about is class warfare. This is really what this is about. When you look at it through that lens, then everything they're doing is makes sense. And they want to destroy the working class and middle class. Working class has already been destroyed, but now they're coming for the middle SOBs. All right, let's just see here, US dollar. See what emerges, US dollar. US dollar, what's their intentions? US dollar. I think they will be lowering the interest rate because obviously the economy is contracting. It's all about the bloody billionaires. All right, if we look here, we have the Queen of Wands. This is a card of collaboration, bringing people together. This is the female energy that brings the salon, the collective, but also as well it deals with business. Yeah, and the Wands suite in particular is fire, the element of fire, but I associate it with entrepreneurship, particularly the king, the queen, and the page as well. But you know, Wands in general, and also as well, Two of Wands and Three of Wands are very entrepreneurial. So here we see there is an element here of big business getting involved in this. From what I understand, I think some of them are suing the US government. Let me know if that is the case. Isn't it some General Motors, not General Motors, some business, because of the tariffs, they've got a court case against Decoded. So, you know, maybe this is a bit of fight back from business, but we're talking about the dollar here. However, look at this. We get the Eight of Cups, which is talking about leaving things behind, walking away, abandoning something. Could this be business is beginning to abandon the dollar? I understand the gilt yields have gone up a bit. Same for the UK. We're very exposed, you know, by the way. Our economy is not so hot either, to be honest. The biggest bondholders are Japan, China, and then UK is third. I learned that recently. But look, there is a walking away here. This can also be global business, yeah, walking away because of the tariffs. However, we look here, the billionaires show up again. This time it's the Nine of Pentacles, which of course is about wealth and prosperity. With this abandoning, the deleting of de minimis, that's not obviously going to make people richer, is it? This is talking about the billionaires. And then we look, Ten of Pentacles, who are trying to what? Continue to establish their legacies, their families, their goals. This can also talk about the GOP as well and the corruption there. And then if we look here, we've got the Knight of Wands rearing up, taking action. But the shadow of this card can also talk about immaturity and impulsiveness. They are moving at pace. They're really moving at pace. At the moment, all we've got really is Gavin Newsom has started to step up to the plate, as I predicted. Do you remember? You guys will remember better than I did. Was it a few weeks ago? Do you remember I did that deep dive? It must have been a couple of Friday fry-ups ago. I did that deep dive on his chart, maybe 3 fry-ups ago. And I said he has what it takes to stick it to Donald Trump. And I said that, and that's when he started to, do you remember he was started to troll Trump? And I said he will either be the president of the United States or his own country. Yeah, I still stand by that. I still stand by that. But with the US dollar, to answer your question, Denise, the situation is being manipulated in favor of the oligarchy. Yeah, for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's see who else is in the chat. And then we're going to get to question number 4 about the rescinding of 4.9 billion in aid. And then after that is Kamala. Yes. And then Trump trying to get into heaven. Oh, ridiculous. Oh, what's this? Deborah says, good Friday evening, a piece of good news. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa will not run for election. The love who reminded us that everyone dies when she voted for the regime's horrible bill. Okay, so what do you think there's going to be a Democrat in there or something? And then Seeking Peace says, just curious, Hoagie, will you still be in that hot cycle on the 15th and the 16th of September? Hot cycle. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Do you mean my sale? I don't know. Yeah, Maureen says Vance terrifies me far more than the orange one. Yeah, he's worse. As you know, you guys know, I've been saying for years. I said JD Vance is worse. And he's behind the scenes plotting, waiting, putting Vaseline on the steps for Duck L'Orange next time he wants to go out on the roof. Yeah, greasing the edges. Slip. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm president now. Oh dear. He's licking his lips. They all are, because Duck L'Orange he's struggling, as we can all see. Someone's saying, Debbie's saying, also a huge comet headed through our solar system right now. This is true. One of the fastest ones ever. D says Vance doesn't carry the cult though. This is true. He does not have Trump's voodoo. Let's just see who else is here. Thanks for sharing the website. What's going on? Facebook. Oh yeah, my archetypal blueprint page. Yeah, you can see my reviews there. Over 104 now. KN says, I put some solar lights along my front footpath. Someone stole them all. Oh my God. Next time, weave in a few mouse traps. So when they pick them up, they can... Terrible, isn't it? There we go. Deborah, fighting misogyny, racism all my life. Up is down is how they want you to see things. Total mind F. Yeah, absolutely. And someone's saying here, about time. Yeah, Lilith. Yeah, in regards to Gavin Newsom. Yeah, long overdue. I mean, he's run out of F's to give, so to speak. What's this here? Deborah says, I still can't believe ICE went out of their way to kidnap and prison 2 fighter fires that were busy fighting the fire in Washington state this week, while we have a convicted felon squatting at the White House. Oh my God. They're just diabolical. What's this here? Raymond, always got something wise to say. The belief in supernatural source of evil is not necessary. Men alone are quite capable of every wickedness. Yeah, Joseph Conrad, absolutely. And then someone here is saying, Wendy is saying, you cannot converse with MAGA. MAGA is an identity. You cannot argue against an identity. It's true. And they are bought in hook, line, and sinker. Oh, what's this here? Acadian said, CBC Canada reporting a federal appeals court has just ruled that most of the president's grumpy's sweeping global tariffs are unlawful. Of course they are. So question number 4. All right. Denise Ferguson again. The White House, OMB, Russell Vought, Project 2025, just notified Congress they are rescinding $4.9 billion in foreign aid. These people are disgusting. Using pocket recession, which allows presidents to withdraw appropriated funds without lawmakers' approval. Will this become the standard in bypassing Congress? And how will this affect a government shutdown on October 1st? Is there potentially a government shutdown in October? Do you remember what I was saying about Jupiter moving into sidereal Cancer on the 18th and 19th? And I said it will be something massive. If they shut down the government, that would qualify, wouldn't it? Wow. So so let me just read again. White House, OMB, Russell Vought, Project 2025 just notified Congress they are rescinding $4.9 billion in foreign aid using pocket recession, which allows presidents to withdraw appropriate funds without lawmakers' approval. Will this become the standard in bypassing Congress? Well, I think we're already there, actually. Congress has done sweet F all, as we know. They voted for all of this diabolical stuff. Let's see here. Let's go. Project 2025. Rescinding aid. They are doing as much damage as... Oh! Look at that! The end card, so I'm putting the cards face down, and I've just put one down and it's face up. And when you see what the card is, it explains everything. Just, oh my God, you won't believe this. You won't believe this. As you know, I'm always saying when cards come back, that is Spirit's way of underlining something, putting exclamation mark there. rescinding the 4.9 billion. It's a partnership. It's an agreement. It's a marriage. Yeah, this is Project 2025. Those in Congress are married to Project 2025, Opus Dei and all this stuff for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, hold on to my obsidian. For entertainment purposes only. Here, they've made a pact. If we look here, Six of Cups comes back. This is a nostalgia for what they want. Yeah, for what they believe. This is going back to a time where they felt all powerful and no one could question the status or power of a certain demographic of the American population. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, they want to go back to that. However, here we have the big wake-up call. I think this is everyone waking up to basically what's going on. And what if there is a government shutdown? My God. If we look here, look at the card that comes back. Justice comes back again. Do you remember I said SCOTUS? They're infiltrated years ago anyway. SCOTUS are part of this pact, yeah, to go back in time. But now everyone's getting the wake-up call, yeah, about them and the legal moves that are being done. And look who comes out, the Empress, Russia. And I said they have a pact. Remember, I said in the previous reading, they have a pact with you know who. Wow. Oh, Patinshka, man. He's very intelligent. Don't want to shower the guy with praise, but I've seen his chart and formidable. Not good. All right, let's go on to question number 5. Someone's saying here, Nail is saying, hi, Hoga, I've just smoked a joint and your ceiling lights are mesmerizing. Happy I caught you live. Good. I think we all need some of that. Blow some of that smoke our way. My God, don't we need I think we all need a collective joint with goodness knows what else in there. Probably a few psychedelics as well. Raymond saying hello to Connie B. And let me scroll down. Here we are. Wendy is saying, Deborah, that's because it's not about idea, policies, agendas, or political viewpoints. MAGA is an identity. Take Trump away and they will be completely lost. This is true. And he is, oh, I've got to give a shout out to Donna. She told me something funny about a cat of hers that's very mature, 20 years old. Not her cat, her daughter's cat. But anyway, I don't want to go too much into it. But one of the phrases that she used, she was saying, what was it? 1 foot out of the door and the other one on a banana skin. Yeah, I think this is where Duck L'Orange is. Why else would he be trying to fundraise to get into heaven? Yeah. Sadly, what's this here? Sharon saying, sadly, Putin doesn't want a ceasefire for a long time. Of course he doesn't. And that came out in the cards, didn't it? He basically got what he wanted out of Duck L'Orange. I have to say what I see, you know, as you know, I don't sugarcoat it. You know, you have to let spirit come through. My job is to be like a crystal and just say what I see. And I find that gives the best reading. Obviously, everyone has their own technique, but that's my personal one. Let's see here. Raymond is also saying, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask where the hell are the Epstein files? Ah, indeed. And then what's someone saying here? Acadian saying, I work in emergency management field. I'm so worried about the rest of her season that I'm praying that they will be out soon before too many suffer. I'm not sure what that was in answer to. And then someone's saying here, daughter said, you're mixing up the black woman, Hoagie. That was Letitia James. That has the real estate issues. The one with the Federal Reserve has a clean slate. Wait, no, there's Letitia James, but there's another one. I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's another one. isn't it at the Federal Reserve? And they're trying to get her on mortgage stuff as well. And it looked like a black lady to me. Letitia, he's hated from the get-go. I mean, we know that, yeah. JC says, Hogarth, if they destroy the whole system. Yeah, they do. But these guys, they're batshit. I mean, there's no other word for it. I think they're trying to induce the second coming, or they just think AI is going to be the new consciousness, and that's why they're building all their bunkers and all of this kind of mad stuff. Wendy's saying, I haven't seen many psychic/astrology readings lately because I'm hooked on vertical short movies. I blame my ADHD. Yeah, honestly, I've been watching reruns of the Golden Girls, by the way. I would say, if the apocalypse comes, if they drop the nuke, I'm going to be sitting there with salted caramel ice cream, watching the Golden Girls. Blanche and Dorothy and all that kind of stuff. And then Cindy's saying Iowa is very white Republican. Yes, indeed it is. And then Jill is saying the lawsuits regarding the tariffs were brought by a coalition of US states and several small businesses. The tariffs were ruled unconstitutional, but stay for now. Okay, thanks for that update there. All right, so let's get on now. Now we're going to talk about Kamala, and then we have to talk about Duck L'Orange. So the first question that came in from Sylvia, I think it's saying here, I think that's a new one. She says, hi, Hoagie, Duck L'Orange just cancelled Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection. And this comes as she departs on a high-profile book tour around the country. Will she be safe? And then other people have responded. Denise says to Sylvia, a VP's Secret Service protection ends after 6 months. It was scheduled to end September 1st, but Biden issued an extension before leaving office. Trump is canceling Biden's extension. And then Sylvia replied, that is correct. Nevertheless, it's more about the timing for him to do so. I mean, he's so petty and pathetic. And then Brenda then says, exactly, the timing is suspicious. So let's look into that. Will Kamala be safe on this tour of her book? I mean, I hope she's going to be scathing, but it's kind of like, oh man, there's so much that needs to be said and investigated. 840 of you here right now. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. And if you've not done so yet, please like and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell notification and share it. Yeah, share it. See if I can get to 30,000. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be a nice birthday present. My birthday's in October. Let's have a look. Kamala. Right, Spirit, what can you tell us about Kamala? Is she going to be all right? So look, see. Now, ideally, we don't want to see any dramatic cards. Yeah. I think she's going to be all right. She's going to make some money too. All right, if we look here. So I think she's going to be all right. Yeah. I don't see any kind of dramatic cards, and she gets 2 aces. Yeah. Aces are yes card, success, that kind of stuff. If we look here, we see the first card that comes out is the Ace of Cups. This is a card of emotional well-being. Yeah, the emotions flowing. I think this is her opportunity to get a lot of stuff off her chest. Yeah, a lot of the emotions. She's probably going to talk a lot about the disappointment that she felt once the results came in. And, you know, she didn't really stick around much, did she? Bless her. Yeah. So I think this is her kind of, yeah, bringing it up and out, up and out. Yeah, the emotions. we see here, we get another ace here. And of course, this is the Ace of Swords, which is known very much as the Sword of Truth. This can also talk about defending the downtrodden and victims. Yeah. So as we know, this, we can tell this is very much in alignment with Kamala, because that was part of her job, wasn't she? Back in the days when she was, I forget her role, but she did a lot for getting rid of drug rings and child abuse and all of this kind of stuff. If we look here, we see the Knight of Wands returns. So, but remember, this is the action card. So yeah, she wants to take it on tour with whoever her publishers are. She's up there raring to go. But we also see the Hermit card as well. So this is going to be a tour of deep reflection. I think this is really what Kamala's wanting to communicate. Now, I think she wants to talk about her emotions of deep reflection. And of course, the Hermit card is about what? Going to ground. It is about contemplation. It's about going within. It's sequestering oneself away, which, as we know, she's been very quiet. Yeah, in general, we've really not seen that much about, not much from her. So this is her first outing. She's been reflecting. And then here, her outcome card is the Seven of Pentacles, which you guys know I refer to as the card of ROI, return on investment. This, she's put a lot into this book, writing it. This is part of why she's been away. Yeah, it makes sense. She's started writing that book. But now, so if we read it backwards, as you know I like to do, she's put a lot into this book. She's invested a lot into this book. She's hoping that it's going to correct the record in many ways. This is why she's been away, yeah, like the Hermit. But now she's rearing to go, and she's prepared to share her truth, yeah, the Ace of Swords, for her to unburden herself emotionally. Yeah, she needs to talk about what happened. But it looks like she'll be all right. I hope she is. But I don't see any danger in those cards. I could be wrong, but I just have to say what I see. And there wasn't the Four of Swords. There wasn't the Death card. There wasn't the Tower. Yeah, she'll have a lot of protection around her anyway. Yeah, she used to be the vice president. Even with or without the security detail, you know, they'll be sure to be protected. Right, this is coming from Barbara. We need to talk about Duck Larange. This man. 850 of you now. Thank you so much, everyone. Hi, Hogarth. I don't have a question for tonight, but I was wondering if you heard that Dumpy is sending emails asking people to donate money so that he can go to heaven. This isn't a joke. Yeah. And then Denise replies, this is true. Yeah. Trump's PAC, Never Surrender Inc. sent out an email Monday with the subject line, I want to try to get to heaven. Contained lines like, if I wasn't supposed to survive an assassin's bullet, but by the grace of the Almighty God, I did. So now I have no choice but to answer this call of duty. Do you guys remember when I said soon after the attack, I said, I bet you any money he's going to start preaching and talking about God and all of this stuff. I mean, we have to really rewind the tape. I mean, this was back in July 2024. I said he's going to be acting like a messiah. Do you remember? Look now. But this is different. Duck Larange knows he does not have long left. Why else would he be doing a grift campaign as if he can pay his way into heaven? I mean, God, the guy. Why else? Because he's been told, and he's having the dreams. Trump is having the dreams. And do you remember, I had my psychic dream about a few weeks ago about him. Do you remember I said I saw him leaving the White House, but I said people were gossiping, talking around him. People from the other side that were part of the civil rights movement were working to get him out of the house. And do you remember I said I saw J.D. Vance and the others around him scheming, talking behind his back. And I said either he's arrested, which obviously he's been able to avoid that so far, but I said he might exit stage left or just be declared. I mean, they're lining up J.D. Vance, and apparently J.D. Vance is doing interviews and stuff. So let's read on that. What's going on with Duck Larange? Yeah, you get in the dreams, Ducky. Yeah. Now Saturn's going through your 8th house. planet of karma, yeah? All of that, McDonald's and all of the uppers and downers that you've been taking over the years, yeah, you've messed with your heart. Can't pump the blood round properly anymore. That's why you got cankles and muffin top over the shoes. Not that I'm wishing for his death, but I'm just reading what's going on. And that Jupiter is going to get closer and closer and closer to his 12th house of hospitals, endings, land and far, far away. So, you know, JD's, you know, putting on his makeup, yeah, in the mirror, powdering himself, getting ready, yeah. It's that Stephen Miller, that Gollum. Dr. Orange. What's going on with Dr. Orange? I know he's getting the dreams. Because as you know, I don't make a big deal about my psychic stuff, as you guys know, but I always communicate. When I have those dreams, they normally come true like 6 weeks to 3 months after. So we're in that time frame. Look how his health has gone down since. Ah, yeah. Yeah. All right. Here he is. Page of Swords, which is, swords are about the mind, yeah, thoughts. Pages are about messaging. And as you know, I associate this card with what? Social media. Social media, the media in general. He's doing his email campaign, yeah, swinging. But it's a mixed card, yeah, not entirely positive. The second card is often what? The obstacle card. Here it is the Ace of Wands, which can be about a brand new start, fresh new beginnings. But clearly, if he's trying to fundraise to get into heaven, you're not going to be fundraising to try and get into heaven if you think you're going to be a long time round here on earth. Really, it's actually reversed. This is the opposite of energy. His energy is failing. He's feeling his strengths begin to ebb away. Saturn spends 2.5 years in a sign, yeah? And when you're on the cusp of 80, because he's 79, that is not the kind of placement you want in your 8th house. Hard to make it, yeah? He's feeling his energy is coming down, his vigor. You know, he's got that Mars in the 1st house, which has kind of protected him for a long time, yeah? Giving him a lot of juice, but he's feeling it. Look at the next card. 8 of Wands, heavy burdens. Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult for him to go along. Yes, like I've said before, he does, as the president, he has the best doctors in the world. But let me tell you, they have told him stuff and they're like, dude, you don't have long. Yeah, he's got all of the bruising. Do you remember the bad makeup? And someone made the very good point. The Queen, before she passed, Queen Elizabeth II, she had the same bruising as well because they're putting the catheter in. Yeah, they're having to put the catheter in to give him the whatever, the liquids and the whatever they're doing to try and preserve what is left of the rotting frame. Yeah. But look, if we look here, 5 of Swords, which is talking about an abuse of power. This is more of the case of how Trump has abused his own body. But now, look, the body is starting to walk away, to abandon him. You can only do this for so long. And then look, the outcome card, 7 of Cups, illusions and delusions. He's losing his mind. We've already known this before, but now it's really starting to surface. And you know, people are talking about vascular dementia and all of that kind of stuff, again, for entertainment purposes only, but I think it's undeniable, yeah? And you see the hypocrisy as well of the other side, you know, when Biden was struggling, oh my God, global news, yeah? You know, Dr. Orange is talking about all sorts of stuff. He's fundraising for heaven, yeah? This is him, look, contemplating the choices. He's trying to make a lot of choices because he knows that he's running out of time. But he's feeling overwhelmed by what he has to do. So he's not making great choices. This gives the tariffs in there. Do you see, look, ghosts and lizards and garlands and fake jewels and mountaintops. Yeah. This is a card of illusion, confusion, not being sure what to do. It also shows the confusion of his own mind. He's losing it. So obvious. Even MAGA, I have to admit it now. You know, he went on the roof of the White House the other day to distract from the fact that he was showing in Epstein's living room, yeah, with the pictures and all of this kind of stuff. So Dark Orange is struggling. And the way Saturn works is Saturn is a relentless energy, yeah? It's a first-rate malefic, which you've heard me say before, but particularly for Cancer ascendants and Leo ascendants, Saturn is a dangerous planet, yeah? Don't get me wrong, I love Shani, I love all of the planets. Their light and their shadow, everything that they represent, but it's not an easy planet. So, yeah, this is why he's fundraising, because I think he knows he doesn't have long left, and he is also getting the dreams. So I will leave it there, folks. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. It was 900 of you. Wow, I think that's a bit of a record for me. Thank you. Thank you so much as well for your donations. I think I've got a few more thank yous to say here. So Deb, thank you so much for your kind donation. And Nat has also become a new member. Much appreciated. I will leave it there. You will see me next. Ooh, maybe on Monday. I think I need to do a financial update. Yeah, talking about the de minimis, the end of that. And then, of course, we will have the next Hogelish coming up. Who's coming up next week? 1 minute. Sheila's off. Who's next? It's going to be Johnny, I think. So it's going to be Lena, Ganga, me, and Johnny for the 3rd of September. So lots to look forward to. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to leave it there. Mwah! Big love, and see you soon. Keep striding, yeah? One foot in front of the other. This cannot last forever. All right, bye-bye.